revolution of sorts with over 33,000 institutes in the country today and about 600 universities. In fact, India has the third largest higher education system in the world today. But despite all of this, are we all really equipped to deal with the changing face of global education? What needs to be done to make India a preferred destination for higher education? And what do India's higher education institutes need to do to contribute to the global knowledge economy? To answer all of these questions and more, I'm joined by a very power-packed panel here tonight. Starting from my right, Mr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, Business World and Exchange for Media Group. Dr. Amirullah Khan, former economist and now President at Global University. K.G. Suresh, Senior Fellow and Editor, Vivekananda International Foundation. Mr. Santosh Desai, MD and CEO, Future Brands, and also, of course, a very eminent columnist. Mr. Subhash Ghai, renowned filmmaker, producer, screenplay writer, also the chairman and founder of Whistling Woods International. Mr. Subimal Bhattacharjee, defense and cybersecurity expert and former country head at General Dynamics. Very warm welcome to all of you gentlemen. Thanks for joining us tonight. At the very outset, I'd like to begin with the Times Higher Education rankings for the world's best universities in 2013. Unfortunately, India is not even in the top 200. And in the QS World University Rankings 2013, India makes an appearance at rank 222 with IIT Delhi. Dr. Khan, I'm going to begin with you. Aren't these rankings for India shameful, to say the least?
The answer is a loud yes. But we've discussed this enough. It's only recently that we, as civil society, have got interested in education. It's only in the last 10 years or so that we have campaigned, got a Right to Education Act passed. Enrollment rates in even primary education went up from 50% to 97%. So it's only now that we've done it and got the raw material right. We will get there by way of quality too.
And maybe I'd like Mr. Suresh to take this question. While we have a number of institutes now trying to impart specialized education, when it comes to employability, what is the industry mindset? Do you find the industry mindset changing? Do you find employers more receptive to specialized people instead of graduates from top management institutions?
I think that Indian industry has matured enough. I don't think that they go by tags anymore. Particularly with relevance to, you do get to hear about stories of how big pay packages are being given to people from certain institutes of eminence. But I think that today, notwithstanding the marks as such, I don't think that's anymore the criteria with the industry.
Do you think our education system needs a complete overhaul as far as innovative thinking is concerned?
See, I'll answer your question as yes, we need an overhaul, but it's not either or. In India, in every discourse, the problem is there's no middle ground. Either you're bad or you're good, whether it comes to Pakistan, whether it comes to India's education system. I think there are lots of good aspects of our education system. I think I'd like to say the leaders of lots of educational institutions are leaders in real sense. So in that sense, they encourage innovation. But I don't think we incentivize people for innovation. I don't think as a culture, why do so many billionaires come out of Silicon Valley? So why do so many people who are of Indian origin or Indians in Silicon Valley and they don't prosper here? It's a culture.
Mr. Desai, do you think there is a dichotomy between what is being taught at our higher education institutes and what the industry is expecting out of the students?
Yes, there is a dichotomy. And I think it comes because of the obsession with certification rather than the process of education that results in certificates and therefore degrees being doled out without that meaning anything. And so therefore there is a gap between what is expected and what is delivered. But I'd go one step further, and I think at a fundamental level, I think too much is made of what industry wants. I don't think industry should determine what education institutions should be delivering. Education is a much more fundamental, much more long-term investment in an individual's future than the first job. We hear about two educational brands in the country, IIMs and IITs. Why do we hear about them? Because they give you, crores plus salaries. 100 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 crores plus salaries about 70 to 80% of the press that these brands receive is because of the starting salaries that the students get.
But
Do
it's
we hear
also,
anything
it's
about
also the quality of education. I
We
would
don't
say,
hear
not
anything about the quality of the education of the IIMs. Do we know what the pedagogy is? Do we have any debates as to whether one uses a case study method, somebody else, doesn't? Do we ask if, should design orientation and creation become part of a management course? Should we only produce managers or creators? Are we asking these questions? The point is that education is not something that gets manufactured overnight. It is not simply by setting a goal in a PowerPoint presentation that you will get it in, it is a long, laborious process. And unless we are tuned into that process and not looking only at the output end, waiting for miracles to happen, this is a fruitless discussion.
Santosh, this first point you made, it's a brilliant thing about too much being made about industry. The industry really, honestly, doesn't know. Yeah. And second point that you make, Santosh, on the importance of good questions and important questions, see what happened. There were two people in the last 10 years who asked tough questions. Jairam Ramesh one day stood up and said that these IITs and IIMs are useless. They don't produce any research. Nobody asked the second question then. Right? They all went after him. Kapil Sibal said that we don't go about doing these certifications and exams. Let's have a more laborious process of testing people. Right? We all went up in arms saying this is destroying the academic system. We really must ask those tough questions.
I just want to respond to the point where he said industry inputs don't matter. On a philosophical level, I agree. There is, education has to be deep. It has to be detached from the industry. It has to be liberal. All those tenets of education that we grew up with. But really, when the bright students see the numbers that are being offered to the IIT, IIM grads or other institutes, really, education is all about attracting the right talent. And, Confucius said, you make your hobby your profession, you don't have to work. I don't think people are coming into courses because they love them. They're coming into the courses because, it will pay them $1 million salary.
But we are talking about, a few thousand people. And this is the thing, that the IIT, IIM, that discourse has severely distorted the fact that we are talking about a clutch of handful of people. In a country where, Vineet Nair made the point about, 40 million sort of, seats. And from there, you're talking about 3,000 to 5,000 people. And we glorify this small group of people to the detriment of everybody else.
Worried about your stock's performance? Wondering when the tide will turn? How about taking your queries straight to the CEO? This earnings season, interact with the CEOs of India's biggest companies on Ask Your CEO. Write to us or shoot a video message with your questions and send it to askyourceo@et-now.com. And we will ensure the best queries get answered. Ask Your CEO, a special initiative to empower the investor. Only on ET Now.
The founder of Mercedes-Benz once wrote something on a sheet of paper and placed it in his factory for all to see. 4 simple words, where the meaning has never been lost. The challenge, always accepted. And the calling, forever answered. Introducing the all-new 2014 S-Class. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
रुको मैडम, लड़कियां पानी भरने जा रही हैं।
बड़े बाबू
जी मैडम।
स्कूल, लड़कियां कहाँ हैं?
टाइम कहाँ है मैडम? 2-4 कोस दूर जाना पड़ता है पानी भरने के लिए। मैडम जी, इससे क्या होगा?
बड़े बाबू, वीजा डेबिट है, आसानी से इंटरनेट पे भी चलता है। वेरीफाइड बाय वीजा होने के कारण आपके कार्ड को पासवर्ड सुरक्षित रखता है।
पढ़ लिख गई तो सासे सखियों खाली कुआं भर जावेगा।
लड़कियां स्कूल नहीं जा सकती तो स्कूल तो लड़कियों के पास आ सकता है ना?
Visa Debit. Dream to advance.
IMTEX Forming International Exhibition on Forming Manufacturing Technologies. Over 400 exhibitors from 25 countries. IMTEX showcasing the latest innovations and technologies. IMTEX Forming and Tooltech. Open to all business visitors this January at BIEC Bangalore.
Mr. Ghai, I'd like a perspective from you on this. Over 70% of India's higher education institutes churn out students who have gone through medium or low quality education, even by India's own standards. Do you think the industry, like, the film industry has taken a step, you've taken one step in that direction. Do you think industry needs to take more steps as far as education is concerned?
Yes, of course, industry has to take more steps, tapping the right talent, giving them the right kind of path, right kind of a school, right kind of training, right kind of workshops, interactive sessions, encouragement. There are a lot of other exercises. Real estate business. And unless until you are a missionary, you cannot really contribute what we are talking about. Otherwise, it is just like a political speech that every politician come, speak well, and he says, you did very good job. No, we are the contributors, we are the doers, and we'll keep doing that. Thank you.
All right. And sustained innovation. Now, any kind of new innovation, KG Suresh, I'd like to direct the question to you. In the West, there is a lot of focus on research and development, and that's how most innovations come out. In India, there is firstly not a sustained focus on research and development. Secondly, who's going to fund this kind of research? What's your take?
Certainly. You see, industry interface is fine. Industry exchange is fine. But the problem, for example, with media. Today, almost every television channel is running its own media school. No, nothing wrong. The problem is that they are hiring only people from their own institute. They take huge money. What about the students coming from the universities? Even internships are denied to them. If they are not given internships, how will they learn? How will good products come? I'm just saying that. I'm saying that don't keep it exclusive to your own school products. If you get better ones from outside also, be open to that. Don't insist that we will hire only from our own schools. How do you expect quality when this is your focus? The focus has to be on research. The investment will have to be made on research. Unless you do that, if you are just focusing only on numbers and only in making money.
So who's going to fund this research? I'd like Mr. Bhattacharjee to take that question. Do you believe that a creative public-private partnership is the only way out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you have come to me at the right time. Just last Friday, I was at the Center for Nanotechnology in Bangalore at the Indian Institute of Science. I heard something very interesting from one of the professors. We all know about the strips and we get our blood sugar levels. But something called the HB1AC, which gives us in a kind of a figure where we are in 90 days of our sugar movement, that also we can get in a strip. Now that nanotechnology, what the professor was saying, that while we are doing some research here, we don't have a channel to take it to the industry. Unlike in US, where at any point of time, any technology that's being worked in the labs, they are first and foremost led to the students, if they themselves can take it as a research. So we don't have a system of fostering entrepreneurship out of those research that's happening. Even take the case of DRDO. 50,000 employees, 53 labs. Over all these years, you only hear criticism. You don't hear good thing, except, of course, a few days back, you heard the Tejas aircraft getting an initial operation clearance. But till the time it gets this final clearance, there's a long way to go. What comes at the basis of cybersecurity? The chip. Are we manufacturing any chip in the country? No, we are buying it in bulk. And we are one of the largest cell phone users. We are the largest computer users. We are growing in internet connectivity. So we have an opportunity to go and target the areas on which we can, blend our fundamental research with industry support, industry intake. And that's what we should look at. The education system, whether it produces a PhD or a MPhil or whatever, should look at what could actually benefit the country, one, and two, of course, the individual.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give each one of you just about 10 to 15 seconds each to sum up and tell me what's that one step that India as a nation should be taking to make it a preferred destination for higher education?
The fundamental point with all my experience as I gave my qualification and the experience of running an organization and also dealing with engineers as well as managers, I would say that let us strive to get the common sense of the people or the students, to innovate, to think, to be able to be true to one's conscience that I can really be useful in what I am doing. Now, currently, I don't think, we are able to give a direction to that. I think we try to follow where the media or everyone is saying, engineers, doctors, now possibly media.
Right, so encourage creative thinking is what you're saying.
I think we need to be focused and look at what we require. Thank you.
Mr. Ghai.
In one line, I normally tell my students there that every technician has to be an artist and every artist has to be a technician. So that sums up the whole thing. Whatever we educate them, there has to be artist in him, and encourage that artist in the higher education, because that will make him thinker, innovator. Thank you.
Mr. Desai.
Yeah, education is an ecosystem, it's a process. It's not just the outcome. So if we are interested in education, let's own everything: research, faculty, infrastructure. Those things actually create quality education, not just wanting it.
Mr. Batra.
I just want to say that in the next 5-year plan, we should at least increase our spends on education by 10 times. And I say by 10, and it's a very tough task. 2, MBA means much below average, or matrimonial BA. So that's fine. And I just want to say there's nothing wrong with industry guiding and media companies having media schools. There are oil and natural gas companies that run training schools, so they don't distinguish. So just want to say that really in the next 5-year plan, the outlay for education should go up by 10 times. And vocational education in India is unsexy. You look down on people who have vocational education. I think as education entrepreneurs in this room, as people who have a voice in the civil society, let's change the mindset of looking down on vocational training.
Education is still very elitist. When we talk about education, it's only about ourselves. To get more than that 10% to get into higher education in India, to reach it to at least 20%, much lesser than any other country that you can think of, that is a single big target. The other one is that let us get foreign universities into India. Like with every sector, this sector also will improve.
Let's not look at higher education in isolation. Education, we have to look at it in totality. If the problem is with the foundation, you can't have a great edifice. So let's also look at primary education. That's very important. Without looking at primary education, if we are just looking at higher education, I think that we won't be able to solve the problems. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for all your valuable insights tonight. Clearly, it's a combination of a number of factors, whether it's promotion of creative thinking or investing more in infrastructure, in research and development, to getting more enrollments in tertiary education. Thank you all for your valuable insights.
If we could drink the ocean, wouldn't we have enough water?
At Hitachi, we're inspired by challenging questions. That's why, using our advanced water treatment systems and information technologies, we're creating integrated solutions to help cities ease the growing pressure on their water supplies today and tomorrow. Hitachi Social Innovation.
It's our future.
Hitachi, inspire the next.
चलो बेटा, रास्ते में एटीएम पे रोक लेना। रुक रुक रुक। यहाँ? मैं 2 मिनट में आया। ये एटीएम कहाँ गया? भाई साहब, यहाँ पे एक एटीएम हुआ करता था।
भाई साहब, एटीएम यहाँ से 5 किलोमीटर दूर है।
5 किलोमीटर? पता नहीं क्या चक्कर है। चल बेटा, तेरी माँ को फोन लगाता हूँ। पता तो लगाऊं तेरी मौसी की फ्लाइट कितने बजे की? जी। अरे, पेजर, मोबाइल कहाँ गया? मोबाइल? फ्लाईओवर ले ले, जल्दी कर। इतना ट्रैफिक, ये फ्लाईओवर कहाँ गया?
कौन सा फ्लाईओवर पापा?
चल मेट्रो लेके। अरे ये मेट्रो कहाँ गई?
मेट्रो?
चलो। अरे भाई साहब, यहाँ पे एक एयरपोर्ट होता था, एयरपोर्ट।
बावड़ा हो गया क्या था वो? एयरपोर्ट यहाँ?
पापा को हो क्या गया है?
अरे यार हेलो सुनो, वो नया वाला एयरपोर्ट तो यहाँ पे है ही नहीं।
एयरपोर्ट नहीं है? मतलब नींद में हो क्या तुम? उठो, उठो, उठो। एयरपोर्ट नहीं जाना?
हाँ, एयरपोर्ट, मेट्रोज, एटीएम्स, बैंक्स, एक्सप्रेसवेज, इतना सब कुछ सिर्फ पिछले 10 सालों में। और ये सब हमारी जिंदगी का हिस्सा बन गया है, जैसे सदियों से ऐसा ही था।
भारत निर्माण का यही प्रमाण।
जन जन को छुआ, जन जीवन बदला।
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point of time, we would specially like to welcome, with a loud round of applause, our chief guest, Shri R.S. Butolaji, Chairman, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here this evening and making it extremely special.
Distinguished guests, dignitaries, the educationists, and Skill Treat Knowledge Consortium, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard a very interesting and a very enriching interaction with some of the luminaries on the subject. I think if I look at that and, two things which came across as the bottom line of whatever interaction was, that how do we make our education system innovation-based and how do we make our system skill-based? Today, many of the engineers, many of the MBAs, that's a fact of the matter, that we have so many, and when you talk of the employability from the employer's perspective, as was said there, that are they really suitable? I know, and most of the large organizations like ours, what we do is we take people, but then we put them through an extensive training program in our respective organization, to bring them to a level where they really become employable and suitable for the organization, etc., etc. But the other thought, which is also very interesting, and that if we have to, because education is the backbone of any family, if I would say education is the backbone of any society, education is the backbone of any nation. And if I might say that education, and everybody would agree, that it is the only medicine which can remove the darkness from the world around, among all the problems that we are having. So education, but what kind of education? One is that you turn out managers, the other is you turn out engineers, whether they are ITIs, fitters, welders, etc., etc., or even doing small odd jobs, which provides them employment, not necessarily to work with others, but they become self-employed. So that's something. But the other thought which I said perhaps was missing for a nation, if you talk from the nation's point of view, and I happen to have some interactions and witnessed some of the proceedings of some of the think tanks of China. I was very amazed and surprised the kind of focus which China is putting. The best of the bright minds are being put into basic sciences, because they believe perhaps if they have to lead, they have to emerge as the leader of the world. It's the science and technology where they will have to master, and that's why best of the minds are being. So that's one thought which I thought is something we need to think, and since the educationists are doing such a good job, I mean, this is one area where I would suggest their attention. The other is, which of course came out, was the universalization. I mean, higher education is good, but what about the primary education? That's really, I think, primary education has been a big casualty I work in a public sector. Throughout in my career, I have worked in the public sector. Most of my colleagues who are manning the boards, who are occupying the senior positions, they are the people who came from most of the ordinary schools. Because that time, if in Delhi itself, where were the so-called public schools, excepting I think 3-4 schools which we could name. They've done exceedingly well, and if you think they have done exceedingly well in public sector alone, let me say from the oil industry's experience, when exploration was opened, when refining was opened, if you look at all the successful companies in the private sector, or even in the steel sector, these are the people who have left the Steel Authority of India. They are manning these steel companies, not only in India, even outside India. If you look at the oil industry, refining, the best of the refineries which we talk about are being run by the public sector executives who have left them, etc. But today, the thought is that today, can I expect that the school from which I passed out, in my village, I'm not too sure that there will be that many boys who will, so what's happening? What's wrong about that? So I think, we need to think about this and this contamination of the bad education, etc., because these schools are not doing well. And when I go back to my village, or when I go back to, what's happening, a public school comes, which is no better. Because if you look at the quality of the teachers in those, that's no better than but every person, he thinks that it's a private school, maybe they will pay more attention, etc. We need to think, and this contamination of education by bad education, etc., is not only a problem which is here. Even in US or developed world, Europe, the contamination of bad education, is being talked about. So that's something which, and somebody said about the third thought which I had was, train the trainers, because you have done that. That's one area where I think a lot of emphasis need to be put. But going from what we are doing, as I said, we have associated, we run our ITIs, and we don't necessarily pick up. Because in a public sector, you can't pick up people from, you have to give equal opportunity to everybody. So even if we have set up ITIs, etc., in various places, or we are associated with various ITIs, it doesn't mean that we directly employ them, because we have to advertise and we have to give equal opportunity, etc. So that's something which is being done. Then, apprentice trainings, etc., whereby we give opportunity to the people who want to undergo training with us, and then they can apply for jobs with us, they can apply for jobs elsewhere, etc. And the government of India has recently come out with spreading the skill education, and in which also we are working on creating a sectoral skill council in the hydrocarbon sector. But these are small things. I think we need to think, and that's again a big debate, that how to multiply this work, how to multiply the good work which is being done by the educationists who have gathered here. How to multiply, that's some thought, and we need to think about this, and including the government, because government has a big role in the education, and it's one of the primary responsibility of the government to do that. But it doesn't mean that it's not our responsibility, because if you are demanding, it will happen. If you are not demanding, it will not happen. So these are some of the thoughts. There are no easy answers to this, but I thought maybe let me, because I was also encouraged by what was being talked about. So I thought these couple of thoughts also need to be shared. And once again, thank you very much for very patiently listening to me, and thank you very much.
The glorious moment we all have eagerly been awaiting has finally arrived. It's time now to unveil the prestigious book which will bring to light the stories of our 25 education evangelists of India who have worked without title to bring change in Indian higher education.
Only education can change.
Our students actually go from the class to the lab and into life.
With the changing things, with the changing values, the technology, the approach, there had to be a lot of
change.
21st century requires students to have certain key skills.
Faculty have to take the lead again, because I mean, if I simply say there is no facility, that is where we have to take the lead from frugal innovation.
Transmit the value system in our students which can motivate them to think globally but keep them intact with our nation.
To generate that breed of teachers in the country that respects and recognizes research.
My father always dreamt of providing education to the underprivileged children. He used to save money to pay their school fees.
The knowledge with skills is the one which is going to be the player for students tomorrow.
We want the children to grow with values, learn with commitment, and lead a healthy and happy life.
What you vision should be backed up by the resources.
उनको हम लोग R&D के लिए ज़्यादा उत्साहित करते हैं.
We feed them, we support them to run faster. When they fall, we are always there to support.
Whatever our student, he should be employable. Whether it's a highly paid or low paid, we don't mind.
Giving them breadth after they got depth, or giving them the foundation after they got the specialization.
We went to many countries, many continents, looked into interesting institutions to benchmark, did a market survey, put together a project report, and then actually started the institution.
Ladies and gentlemen, the prestigious book, as I mentioned, which will bring to light the stories of our 25 education evangelists of India, right now here on stage, unveiled. And this is the very first look at this coffee table book.
बारिश का मजा तो सब लेते हैं, पर बारिश का पानी बचाने की बात कौन सोचता है? हाँ? बारिश के पानी का संरक्षण करें ताकि पानी की कमी ना हो और आप जिंदगी का यूं ही मजा लेते रहें।
Raveen presents Power News, a power-packed show highlighting the news, issues and developments in the fast-growing power sector. Only on ET Now.
Now, buying a house is not just about the EMIs and the down payment. A home is where your children will have their first impressions in life. It will be your muse after a tired day, an inspiration for the family to get together. Bear no doubts. Open the door to your brand new dream home with a property guide. Only on ET Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the journey of the television series and the release of the coffee table book is now culminating into a recognition of the highest order. It's time to felicitate our very first Skill Tree Education Evangelists of India. To do the honors, the first set of honors, may I request on stage Shri R.S. Butolaji, along with Mr. Anurag Batra. Can we have a loud round of applause for them, please? I would also request Colonel Datta, the curator of the Karmavir Chakra, to please join us on stage for the honor.
Our
Our first evangelist is E. Ibrahim S. Sheikh, Director, Xavier Labour Research Institution, Jharkhand. Professor Venugopal is here to receive the honor. It is very important that higher education institutions in India shape professionals who are ethical and have a higher sense of responsibility and integrity. XLRI strives to mold responsible business leaders who will contribute in shaping a sustainable future. Our next evangelist, Subhash Ghai, Founder Chairman, Whistling Wood International, Maharashtra. The best aspect of education is that it encourages thirst for more education. With that philosophy, Subhash Ghai believes that with education, a man finds himself in a room with all its windows open to the outside world. Our next evangelist, Dr. Lavu Rathaiya, Chairman, Vignan University, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Education, according to him, is all about expanding the mind. It should shape minds into culturally sensitive, proactive beings that are responsive to the society and its problems. Our next evangelist, Prad Diwan, Vice Chancellor, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Uttarakhand. Education is a process that leads a person towards self-actualization. This implies education be such which not only broadens the mind, but also equips one with life skills that make a person productive with self and society at large. Our next evangelist, Dev Murthy, Chairman, Sri Ram Murthy Smarak Trust, Uttar Pradesh. Education for this institute stands with complete development and a value system for students so that they can contribute significantly in their profession and development of the nation at large. Our next evangelist is C. Valiyappa, Chairman, Sona College of Technology, Tamil Nadu. According to the Sona Group of Educational Institutions, education transforms the person to bring out the best in him and shows that his entire potential is of use to the society. Please also welcome A. Dheeraj Lal, Secretary, Sona College of Technology, Tamil Nadu. Our next evangelist, Dr. B.S. Satyanarayana, Principal, RV College of Engineering, Karnataka. For RV College of Engineering, all education stands for is complete development of potential and value systems for students so that they can contribute significantly in their profession and development of the nation. Our next evangelist, R.S.K. Lakshmana Prabhu, Director, PSNA College of Engineering and Technology, Tamil Nadu. According to this institution, education should be an empowering process that allows and guides children to develop their passions, critical thinking, compassion and orientation towards wisdom for timely action. Our next evangelist, L. Gopalakrishna, Managing Trustee, PSG College of Technology, Tamil Nadu. For this institution, education deals with human growth of mind, spirit, character, and effective behavior. Our next evangelist is Professor Nagesh Rao, President and Director, Mutra Institute of Communications, Gujarat. The institute encourages students to think out of the box, communicate creativity, and show a healthy respect and concern for the ecology and environment. Our next evangelist, Dr. M.R. Jairam, Chairman, MSRM and Gokula Education Foundation, Karnataka. Dr. Ashok A.C., Principal and Dean, M.S. Ramaya Medical College, has come to receive the honor. Education for them is a process of providing holistic knowledge to all aspiring youth and providing opportunity for lifelong learning.
The new company's bill mandate for CSR could transform India's social sector. But is the corporate sector adequately prepared for a sustainable future? Vodafone presents Sustainability for Responsible Corporates.
Vodafone strongly identifies itself with these words. What is good for society is good for business.
A panel discussion on embedding sustainability and the importance of responsible practices with leading opinion makers. Only on ET Now.
An initiative by Vodafone.
Absolute has a long history with artists. Art is really all about transformation. The idea of somehow encapsulating whatever it is in a single moment and kind of making it an absolute purport. That moment of wonder is something that is deeply attractive. We are instinctively drawn to it.
May I request His Excellency, Mr. A.R. Kohli, along with Mr. Shubhimal Bhattacharjee, to please join us on stage to help us do the next set of honors.
Our next evangelist is Dr. Ramdas Pai, Founder Chairman, Manipal University, Karnataka. Mr. B.K. Mathur is here with us to receive the honor. For Manipal University, education is the means to expand and enrich one's mind to face the world with confidence and capability. Our next evangelist, Kamal Mehta, Chairman, Jodhpur National University, Rajasthan. For Kamal Mehta, education is the process by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, and intellect is sharpened, as a result of which one can stand on one's own feet. Please also welcome Kapil Suri, Director, Jodhpur National University, Rajasthan. Please put your hands together for Taranjeet Singh, MD, JIS Group of Institutions, West Bengal. For JIS Group of Institutions, an educated person is someone who perceives accurately, thinks clearly, and acts effectively on self-selected goals. next evangelist, Dr. Hari Krishan Marant, founder, Imperial College, Karnataka. Education for Imperial College is about encouraging the students' natural tendency to explore, experiment and experience. It is all about igniting the fire that will spread light globally. Our next evangelist, Dr. Amir Ullah Khan, President and Vice President, Local University, Uttar Pradesh. According to Dr. Khan, education is what equips the students to understand the world better, celebrate diversity that exists around her, and appreciate conflicting opinions and ideas. Our next evangelist, Dr. Joseph V.G., Chairman, Garden City College of Science and Management Studies, Karnataka. According to Dr. Joseph V.G., education is to enhance knowledge, which is the greatest tool for living. Our next evangelist is Ronnie Kurian, Chief Operating Officer, Ecole Hotelier, Lavasa, Maharashtra. Education today has evolved from medicine, engineering to other vocational streams. According to Ronnie Kurian, more emphasis should be given to active learning, critical thinking and communication-led education programs. Our next evangelist, Gurmeet Singh Dhaliwal, Chairman, Baba Farid Group of Institution, Punjab. The purpose of education for this institution is gaining knowledge, improving skills, and above all, preparing for the future.
May I request Ms. Arvina to please join us on stage to help us do the next set of honors along with our respected dignitaries.
Our next evangelist is Shobha Rani Nanduri, Chairperson, Board of Governance, ICFI Society, Andhra Pradesh. According to ICFI Society, the essence of education is knowledge creation and knowledge dissemination. The ultimate dream for this institution is to create professionals with well-rounded personalities who can work for the betterment of society. Our next evangelist, Ramashankar Singh, Chairman, ITM University, Gwalior. Dr. R.D. Gupta has come to receive the honor. For this institution, the educator should devise the simplest and most effective methods of turning minds around. It shouldn't be the art of implanting sight in the organ, but should proceed on the understanding that the organ already has the capacity.
Ladies and gentlemen, a loud round of applause for everyone who has joined us on stage for the special honor and of course for the fact that without them education would hold a little less meaning.
Now, buying a house is not just about the EMIs and the down payment. A home is where your children will have their first impressions on life. It will be your muse after a tired day, an inspiration for the family to get together. Bear no doubts. Open the door to your brand new dream home with a property guide. Only on ET Now.
Why can't we put energy to sleep at night?
At Hitachi, we're inspired by challenging questions. That's why, using our advanced power systems and information technologies, we are creating integrated solutions to help cities meet the growing demand for energy, today and tomorrow. Hitachi Social Innovation.
It's our future.
Hitachi, inspire the next.
Mahindra Transport Excellence Awards.
honoring the individuals who've tirelessly worked behind the scenes to pave a new way for the transport sector. A groundbreaking initiative to transform the Indian transport sector. Catch the highlights of Indian transport's biggest night. Mahindra Transport Excellence Awards 2013. Only on ET Now.
ये सारी नदियां समंदर में मिलती हैं।
सर, क्या हम भी समुंदर देख सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल पॉसिबल।
अपनों के संग खुशियों की दौड़ लगाना, आसमां को धरती पे ले आना। पॉसिबल है, पॉसिबल है, पॉसिबल है। दिल में है तो पॉसिबल है,
जब दिल में है तो सब कुछ पॉसिबल है। मैक लुब्रिकेंट्स।
The Telecom Commission is likely to finalize on the spectrum user charges today. The empowered group of ministers headed by the finance minister will take the final call on Monday post a review. The decision will be crucial for telecom companies as it has a direct impact on the auction of spectrum that begins February 3rd.